Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of At Home with Dan. Today I'm going down the route of Greek, so kind of like a Greek tapasy meze style thing. So today I'm going to make some pita bread and a couple of dips. I'm going to do a hummus and a tzatziki. So the first thing I need to do is make the pita bread mix. It's very similar to a white dough or a basic bread mix. It's just different in the way we mold it and cook it. So basically in here I've got strong white flour, I've got salt and sugar. That's going to go straight in to my mixing bowl. I'm going to do this on the planetary mixer. In this bowl I've got some dried yeast, and then I've got my body temperature water or tepid water. Just add that to that. Give it a good mix. And then I'm also just going to add a couple of tablespoons of oil. You can use olive oil if you want, but I've got this really good Yorkshire rapeseed oil. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix these ingredients together on the planetary mixer and then add the wet to the dry until it forms a dough. Once all the liquid's added to the dry ingredients and it's come together and formed the dough, I'm just going to leave it mixing on a medium speed, like for number 4 or 5. I'm going to mix it for about 5 minutes just to really knead that through, just to get the gluten working. So we'll come back in 5 minutes and see how it is. The bread's been kneading for 5 minutes now. I've come back to check on it. It should be ready to prove now. So hopefully you can see in the camera there, the dough has come away from this inside of the bowl, and actually the sign of a really good bread dough is the fact that it almost cleans the inside of the bowl. So I'm just going to take that out, and as you can see, inside of the bowl is pretty clean. It should just come off the dough hook quite nicely. Just going to take a touch of flour. I'm just going to knead it a little bit by hand. And you can see it's a really lovely smooth dough. All we need to do now is prove this. It'll probably take around 45 minutes to an hour to prove in a nice warm environment. If you've got a proven drawer, fantastic, put it in there. If not, an airing cupboard or just a warm kitchen is fantastic. So we're going to prove that, and then we'll come back to it and we'll make and mould our pita breads or flatbreads. So I'm just going to pop a touch of flour into the bowl, put the dough back in, touch of flour on top, and then I'm just going to cling film that up, and what that does is it creates a little atmosphere environment inside, so it kind of creates a humidity inside, which helps it prove. So I'm going to put that to one side in my warm kitchen, and in true blue pita style, here's one that I made earlier. So we're about an hour into the prove of this one. Take the cling film off, and hopefully you can see it's actually doubled in size. It's gone really nice and light and fluffy. So I'm just going to get that out onto my work surface. So now it's out on the work surface, we're just going to do what's called knocking it back. So we're going to knock all the air out, so it's just a case of kneading it again. And that just gets rid of all the excess air. And the great thing about flatbreads or pita breads is you don't have to re-prove, or you don't have to do a second prove. So from this stage it's quite quick into the cooking process. So there we go. And then with this recipe you can probably cut it down into about 6. I'm just going to roll that around. And then something I do slightly differently with pita breads and flatbreads, instead of using flour on your surface, I actually use oil, and it stops it from sticking. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to do this on the chopping board, just because I think it might seep into this one. So touch of oil on the board, touch of oil on the bread. It also stops it sticking to the tray in the oven. And then we're just going to roll it out. into a kind of classic flatbread shape, so it's almost like a kind of oval or teardrop shape. And as for the cooking, I tend to give them about 3 or 4 minutes on each side, so I'm rolling it out to about 1 centimetre in thickness. Give them 3 or 4 minutes on each side. So that's kind of what you're looking for, that shape, that thickness. I'll do one more as well. Now in terms of cooking it in the oven, you want to have the oven really hot, so between 200 and 250. If you have a pizza stone in the oven, fantastic. Stick them on the pizza stone and they'll be great. You'll get that real authentic feel to them. If not, put a baking tray in the oven as it's heating up, so the baking tray becomes the same temperature as the oven, so it's really hot, so it kind of starts the cooking process straight away. Failing that, I don't have a reasonable baking tray to use or a pizza stone, so I've actually put in the oven like a cast iron dish. So the cast iron dish has actually been in the oven for a good 20 minutes now. So carefully take that out, and I'm just going to pop our bread, so I can fit 2 into this one. You can maybe hear the sizzle straight away there. And that's the other good thing about using oil instead of flour, is it actually prevents it from sticking. So straight back into the oven. As I say, I'm going to give those 2 or 3 minutes on each side. So whilst the pita breads are in the oven cooking, what we're going to do is just knock up our dips quite quickly, and they're both really quick and easy dips. So in this bowl I've got my Greek yogurt. Go for full fat, it just has a thicker, nicer flavour. Along with that we've got cucumber, so I leave the skin on, some people take it off. The one thing I do though is just remove the seeds, otherwise it makes it a bit too wet and sloppy if you leave the seeds in. So it's about half a cucumber I've got here. And my recipe will be on my website or on my social media pages if you wish to use. And basically, very simply, take your grater, take your cucumber, so that's a cucumber mixed in with the Greek yogurt. The next thing we're going to go in with is garlic. Now the garlic, I generally use 2 cloves. Depending on how much you love garlic, you can do 2, 3, 4. It's entirely up to you. I've seen people put loads in. It is personal preference. So I'm putting 2 cloves in, and I'm just going to crush them using my little hand press. So straight in with the garlic. We'll give that a good mix in. Make sure you give the garlic a good mix. You don't want one person getting the entire mouthful of garlic. And then just to finish it off, I've got some fresh mint here, so I'm just going to pick this fresh mint down. And the tzatziki, it works really well as a dip to go with pita breads. It's fantastic with grilled lamb or just any kind of grilled meats. Quite nice with grilled fish. Really good with like mackerel and smoked mackerel, so it doesn't just have to go with Greek style food. But on a lovely summer's day, if you do maybe it's like a grilled lamb like steak on the barbecue and serve it with tzatziki, it just works really well. So that's all those ingredients mixed together. Final thing, just a little twist of salt. Another quick mix. And then I'm just going to put that into my bowl that I'm going to serve it in. And then to garnish, you can just drizzle with a little bit of oil, just contrasts the colour. And then if you want to, also a little touch of smoked paprika. Just gives it a lovely finish. So that's our tzatziki done. And theoretically that's taken about the amount of time that I want my first flatbread cook. So now we can take those out. You can see they've puffed up a little bit. What I'm going to do is just turn them over so it's gone nice and golden on that side. And then they can have another 3 minutes on that side. And then in the 3 minutes that we're cooking those, we'll make our hummus. So for hummus, guys, chickpeas, oil, garlic, lemon juice and tahini. So I've got the lemon juice, tahini and chickpeas all together in this bowl. You need a food processor or liquidizer for this, or you could use this like a hand blender, stick blender. So I'm just going to put all my chickpeas in there. So as I say, it's got chickpeas, it's got lemon juice, and it's got tahini in there. So tahini is like a sesame seed paste. You don't need much of it, it's quite a strong flavour. So I'm going to go in with my garlic as well. Just crush the garlic straight in. And the great thing about the recipes for the dips, there's not many ingredients involved, and all you need to do theoretically is just mix everything together. You don't have, there's no stages or there's not loads of steps to it. It is literally just mix the ingredients together. So I'm going to go in with a couple of tablespoons of oil there, a couple of twists of salt, and then what I've done as well with the chickpeas, I've just reserved some of the liquid back just in case it's not quite like wet enough or loose enough. You can just add a little touch of the liquid. So I'm going to give this a quick blitz. It could get So I've given that a really good mix up. And that goes to your general hummus consistency. And hummus is a great thing, you can put loads of different flavours in, so if you wanted to make it Moroccan spiced you could do, if you wanted to do a red onion flavour or caramelised onions, it all works really well. So again, just going to garnish this with a touch of oil, and then because I think it goes really well with hummus, I'm just going to garnish that with a little touch of cumin. So cumin's kind of like a Moroccan spice, which is quite nice. So that's both our dips done, and literally they take 3 minutes each. Our flatbreads have been in the oven, so our flatbreads have had the time as well. And the time it takes to cook the flatbreads, which is 3 or 4 minutes on each side, you can quite easily put together a tzatziki and a hummus, and you're basically left with a lovely light lunch, little dip, or it's a fantastic garnish accompaniment to a barbecue, or if you've got a Moroccan spiced leg of lamb or a lamb cleftico. And it's just really something simple to do. The flatbreads aren't too difficult to do, and they're not as time consuming as like regular bread, because you don't have to wait for that second proof. It's really good in the fact that you can just go straight in and cook them straight away. So guys, that is my tutorial for today done. Greek pita breads with tzatziki and hummus. Hope you enjoy it. I hope you all have a go. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave a comment. Let me know how you get on, and hopefully you enjoy it. And most of all, guys, happy cooking and stay safe. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.